Hello, race fans. How's it going? Welcome to round 6 here of the GTE GT1s at Le Mans. We are just about to finish up our 2-hour qualifying session. We got about 8 minutes on the clock remaining, and then we're going to jump into a 40-minute race here. With the higher horsepower GT1s, I'm expecting to see them pull ahead a little bit more, but surprisingly enough, it looks like the way the qualifying grid has stacked up thus far is somewhat promising to some results we might end up having this evening. Let's check those out. I think we're actually riding on board with Steven Martinez. And excuse me 1 minute, folks. Surprise, surprise, gotta get that Trayton Paints running for us. Who knew? All right, there we go. Good stuff. Got a couple guys on track who we don't see very often. Here's Ryan Collins, currently running second in the GTE class in that swarm of bees. Wow, Andy Scheel and Corey Mitchell doing 350s. Pretty impressive. One apiece in the different classes there. Oh, excuse me. Let me pull up those lap times like so everybody can see those. Corey Mitchell leaving the pits. He's going to have about enough time for an outlap. Here's Lincoln Russell, currently third fastest in the GTEs. Fantastically laid on the brakes there. I love that. He's really pushing this Ferrari around the track. Real wide out of that chicane, really using all the track possible. As a fellow GTE decides to let him by. very brave line into that Mulsanne corner as he really takes a healthy dose of the curb. Gets right over to the left to start it, and then gets over to the right side and isn't even really on the brakes until after he's seemingly through the curbing on the right, throwing the car back to the left side, using all the track here before making that Mulsanne corner as wide as possible. Here comes into Indianapolis. A little bit more conservative through here, touches that inside curbing, which is almost unadvisable. Just use the camber of the road. Really takes all the curbs. Here's Corey Mitchell. I'm still doing this dash cam on the GT1 Corvettes. Approaching the final minute, there we are, of this session. So it's probably gonna line up where it currently is. The front three drivers seem to have a decent margin on the rest of the pack. They're a long string of 54s and then a couple 58s towards the end. First chicane, the whole track, and then yeah, you got to get over to the right side of this track. They smoothed out that big crest, but you got to make it over to the right hand here. Little high in the middle of that road. Try to do it early before you bottom out. Get too much downforce on you. Alright, so we got Corey out on track still, Doug, Kent, and Colin Davis here. Looks like, oh no, there's still a couple guys on track. Corey's back there too. Let's take a quick look at that race info. We got 40 minutes here, and I think we have a 10x drive-through. Excuse me about that. I don't think that's the ruling this evening, but I do know we have a 50% mandatory, 50% fuel maximum in those tanks with a mandatory pit stop this evening, and we'll see how that splits them up. Considering Le Mans is an 8.5-mile circuit. I believe this one's a morning session here for us. So track temp down at 84 at the moment. See these guys coming through the curves, hopefully for their final moment here. get this race underway. As Kent comes to a halt. Corey decides to as well. And then Colin Davis is last man on track here. He's also wrapping up. Getting a little wide there coming out of, I forget what that corner is called. Oh. Yeah, I think that's it for him as well. All right, hopefully we can take a look at that qualifying grid in just a moment here whenever it decides to pop up. Oh, well, instead, can we at least go see that? Nope, it appears we're in the race already. Oh no, we can go see Corey's off tracks instead. Fantastic. This is much better. Who needs the qualifying grid when you have this? Ah, always with the barriers with this one. Up, and that noise is annoying. And I think we are live at the moment. I don't know why you have anybody in the pit lane here. We should be live on the timing. We had some issues yesterday with this overlay, where the overlap in time between the qualifying and the race. Sure, the server is going to do great this weekend. It's going to go flawlessly. Everybody knows that. All right. Come on, let me get a qualifying grid, or maybe just a race grid would be great. Or we could just go back through the list here. Oh, everything refreshed. That means we got a grid up there. All right. With the GTEs, Andy Sheila's going to lead us out today. On the front row beside him is Corey Mitchell, leader of the GT1s. We have Orion Collins on makes up row 2 next to Lincoln Russell, both in GTEs. And then the next row is all GT1s and Douglas Doucette and Braden Ashworth. We got more GTEs and Stephen Martinez and Eric Kulliga. Then a mixed row with Vincent Wood and Bjorn Benches makes up 10th position. Ty Johnson and Ken Kruger are in the 6th row there. And then behind them we have Ryan Matthews, Colin Davis, David Arnett, and Mark Bray. It'll be exciting to see if everybody ends up gridding with us here. Let's take a quick peek at the track temp again. We're up to 86 degrees here. 74 air temp. Nice and crisp here though in Le Mans. Right. Top is Corey Mitchell. We're still waiting for our pole sitter and Andy Shield. Looks like they're again starting on that straight before the Porsche curves. I think we had the pace truck last night for all the American cars. I think we have the regular pace car this evening. And that's 2 minutes down. We should be ready to rock here now, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, there we go. It looks like that right lane, we struggled to get moving there. So we caught some guys out. These guys definitely exercising their tires. Where Andy is, as you can hear there, working those brakes, heating up those brakes. You got to keep them warm, unlike the GT1 class. This pace car is going to drive right past the pit lane again and go almost onto the pit straight before it pulls off, so that these guys aren't blasting through the two final chicanes before those would be nasty turn 1, 2, 3, and 4 in a row. It would not be pretty. Just like the real race, they do this. We're waiting on Andy, as this is his moment, and he decides to go. Everybody else behind seems to be doing all right. There's a whole mess of cars in the back here, really fighting for position. Looks like Ken Kruger is getting passed by Ryan Matthews there. Up ahead, Corey Mitchell going for it early and making himself known. Andy really stops on the brakes there and lets him have it. A little bit further back, Ty Johnson's really starting to move up, and so is Ryan Matthews. Some fantastic paint schemes going on. We'll see how that battle for the lead is continuing to go, as Andy's only half a second behind. As Ty Johnson, after picking up those places, has a crash in the back. Eric Kulliga's making a move on the inside of this first chicane here. As there's people passing each other all over this grid. Sorry, I can't keep up as Braden Ashworth and Doug Doucette battle for position on third, and it looks like Braden has to concede there. Eric has Steven Martinez coming right back at him, and they've got Bjorn Benches in the GT1 on the straights now, challenging them with that top speed. Look at him go. He's just passed both of them already with that extra horsepower he has. Then Colin Davis is making a great run. I think Vincent Wood probably had to slow down back there. Oh, as Bjorn goes off at the second chicane and loses all that good work he's done, Ken's going to get past him as well here. And maybe even Ryan for good measure if he gets a good run on him, but he's tucked right up behind Kent. He should be good coming down to the Mulsanne corner, as Kent Kruger does get passed by Bjorn. and Corey Mitchell still leads this race. Ken Kruger's back ahead. Is much better through the Mulsanne corner. It's Ryan Matthews is challenging, and Vincent Wood and David Arnett are going door to door. This is a great Le Mans race. It's really being treated like a sprint race. I'm really glad to see everybody really going for it, staying with each other. Bjorn, I don't know what happened. He must have had still a slowdown penalty that he hadn't served somewhere along the lines. Something, or might have serious damage. Ken Kruger's under a lot of pressure from Ryan Matthews. Oh, what has happened? Oh, it's Braden, Colin Davis, excuse me. Spinning out there. Lincoln Russell's in 4th place. Steven Martinez has made his way ahead of Eric Kulliga after that little battle. David Arnett is passing Vincent Wood as we speak on the outside here. Or sorry, he's on the inside. Oh! Oh, the Porsche curves are men's curves, and oh, he's got to get off that racing line, and it did not end well for either of them. Back up top, the battle for the lead is starting to close up here as, Andy just loses that opportunity to make a run on Corey out of the second chicane. Not surprised, as these GTEs will handle those curves a lot better than these GT1s. He can really eat the whole thing, but you got to be a little bit more delicate with these GT1s. Corey's starting to feel the pressure and push himself, put him on curbs that he really shouldn't be on as they come down to this these forest curves. I don't know what's happening there. Vincent Wood's going very slowly after that battle. He is right on that bumper. He's got to stay in that slipstream. Don't think he's going to make it on this straight. He's just got to stay with Corey's weaving. He can most certainly have better top speed control than Corey has, and brake later than Corey can. So he should push Corey into a spin almost with his own weaving there. As Eric is starting to close up here on Steven ahead of him. Ryan Matthews has to concede that position. I don't know exactly what happened. Ty Johnson raging along, now sees David Arnett just ahead of him. Here's the view from Lincoln Russell, who must have had an accident there and let these guys by. There's just been so much on track that I'm missing. I think Lincoln was in 4th place overall, 3rd in class. As Orion Collins is not in this race. He must have had an accident towards the beginning, or maybe he didn't grid with us here. But here you can see Eric making a move on Steven. He's got the racing line here. Very sketchy maneuver, but he gets it done. Great racing, though. Vincent Wood is still with Colin Davis. Up towards the top, Andy has let him away slightly. Here's Lincoln Russell making a move on Steven Martinez. He's going to lose another position here. He's not going to be able to get it, Eric and Indy. But he's definitely pushing him down to Arnage. And see if he can't get a good run out of here. And Steven is still in the picture. Down to the Porsche curves here. These are so difficult, very high speed curves. Oh my god. And it's just treacherous stuff around here. And obviously, as we saw with Vincent and sorry, I can't remember who that was. But there's multiple different lines through there, different strategies for drivers, different theories about how that works. As we see Colin Davis getting passed by David Arnett there. I think that was David Arnett of Vincent Wood who had that incident back there in the curves. But yeah, negotiating them with drivers around you is very, very difficult. Andy Shield has made his way back to the top of the race grid. Let's see exactly what happened here. Oh, as you see Corey go very wide into Arnage. Oh, and he flashes his lights in frustration. He can do nothing. As you see them just mosey down the road here. Corey's lost himself nearly 3 seconds as these two continue to battle. Wonder if Colin has a slowdown penalty because of that off track back there. They're just going door to door. This is the battle for 10th here. Awesome stuff, guys. And then we've got Vincent Wood, who's picked himself back up from that incident. Staying with him. Steven has fallen 1.7 behind these two now. Most able to hand. So here comes Lincoln. He's got the inside to the second chicane. Let's see if he can outbrake Eric, which is pretty difficult to do. And yeah, they make it through cleanly. To fight another day, maybe. He's already got a 0.7 jump on Eric out of that chicane. You see what's going on back here is Vincent Wood is going to pass David Arnett probably by the end of this Mulsanne straight. Seems to be shifting that car a little bit early and not really maximizing all of those higher speed RPMs. It appears that Vincent's nose looks good and David's tail does not, perhaps after that incident. And unfortunately, we got Bjorn Benches down in 13th position overall. He sometimes has an unfortunate first 2 laps and crawls his way back into this race. And we're already 11 minutes in. Notice me, I'm very entertained to say the least. So we should expect these guys to come in for pit stops in about 10 minutes or so. Start to see a few guys trickle in. Up, and there's Doug Doucette and that Aston Martin. He's put it into the wall. Luckily, he's got. Oh, he had a gap on Lincoln Russell here. But he's clawing up there, and he's already pulled out a little bit of a gap between him and Eric Killiga. Looks like Colin Davis going a little slow there. As Vincent Wood secures 10th place for good. There's Doug, maybe with a little front damage. I can't really see. It looks pretty good. He definitely has some pressure from behind as he tries to push out a Tête Rouge, which is really important. Your foot becomes a little bit heavier if you got somebody behind you and you leave that. I don't think I've ever felt confident going. Felt like I took that corner well coming onto the first Mulsanne straight. It's so difficult. The track is very wide. It gives the drivers a lot of freedom to express themselves with those different lines through these corners. I like this first chicane here in the high-speed section much more than the second one. I think this one's a little bit easier to get right, and then that second chicane is another one of those corners I feel like I rarely nail. I feel like I got everything I could have out of the car. Eric Kulliga here is slipped back within 1.2 of Steven Martinez there. And now battle for 7th in position. It's 9th overall. Sorry, it's 6th in position. You see a couple great paint jobs. Oh, and but it looks like Steven Martinez might be under some pressure too from Braden Ashworth, who's really making up some ground on him back there. And just behind is Ken Kruger, as it looks like Doug Doucette finally sacrificed that spot, but he's coming right back at him on this straight to get him on the inside for the Porsches. He's actually, oh, how did he make that stick on the inside? Well done, as they come right out to that barrier. It's so scary coming around that corner. This is great racing here. You'd think Lincoln would have the advantage in this more technical section. See if he can make anything count and put his nose in on one of these corners before it gets back to the Mulsanne straight. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. As you see Douglas get, oh, but spoke too soon. Commentator's curse right there. I was supposed to say, as you start to lose it, he loses a ton of places as a result. So unfortunate for Lincoln, as this is still raging on through the Porsche curves here. Coming out to finish a lap. Vincent is really pressuring Ryan here, and he's going to get a great run. Oh, well done. That's a great move as he sees Ryan get a little bit out of shape through those curves, pushing himself too hard. He says, I've got the confidence right here to make this happen, as he sees him go a little bit wide. Oh, wow, and Ryan's really going for it and earns himself an unfortunate slowdown because of it. It won't be that bad because he's not going very fast out of that runoff area, so it'll probably bleed itself off. Back up at the top of the grid here. Andy has now pulled out a 9-second gap ahead of Corey. I thought that could be the case. With Corey doing a 53 and a 55. Not quite the laps he needed to be doing. Doug Doucette is now second in the GT1s. Still, it looks like he was, is his rear wing damaged? Is that just I just want this car to be damaged, apparently. I'm looking for stuff to be wrong. He's third overall, followed by Eric Culliga here. He's still keeping off Steven Martinez a little bit. You can see that other Ford in the back there. You know, Braden Ashworth third in the GT1s. Doing 34s, 36s. And we have Kent Kruger, who's currently fourth in class in the. Oh, sorry, I thought I just heard somebody crashing. Who is third and fourth in the GTEs. Spencer Wood has made that move stick and moved 3.5 clear of Ryan. Colin Davis now just under a second behind Ryan, and that's for 10th position. But 7th in their class. All right, we're just almost halfway done with this race. It has just been flying by this evening. As David Arnett elects to not come into the pits in the earlier side to pick up some fuel and take care of his damages. It's Colin starting to close up here. Sorry, folks, your GT1 leader, just after he crosses the start-finish straight, know what is going on. He crashed. I don't quite know what's going on. He had to perhaps retire from this race. He's still in there. We see Douglas Doucette as well has come into the pits. Maybe this is an actual pit stop for him. It is not for Corey. That is not scheduled at all. Dinner was ready as Eric Culliga moves into second place there overall, just by keeping his head down and making his way through. Oh, what? Lincoln, did you just blow your engine, Lincoln? What is happening? What is I don't know what is happening. People are being dumb. We got all sorts of people in the pits now. Let's see, pit time. Let's see those pit times. We got Bjorn, who's been in there for 10 minutes. And then he's out of this race. Ty Johnson's out of this race. Orion never started. And then Mark Bray never started either, I believe. Maybe Orion did start, actually. Excuse me. But anyways, Corey Mitchell still hanging out in there. That's for sure. Has not moved. Lincoln Russell is now in the pits. He is not doing anything really in there, though. I don't see his time ticking down as we see, I think that's David Arnett come out of the pits there. He's only 16.7 in his GTE. We saw Ryan Matthews in the GTE do a 12.8 and Doug Doucette, who's now the leader in the GT1s, do a 17.2. I thought they'd be a little bit hungrier, which they or thirstier. They most certainly are. So we also see Braden Ashworth enter the pits, not setting a time. Oh, sorry, Lincoln blew his engine, duh. So it looks like, I guess he's not used his quick repair. I think they have at least one quick repair this evening to use, and he has not been to the pits yet. As we see our race leader come in for his pit stop. It's been a very, very bizarre race this evening. As we see Andy nailing that that pit entry. As Eric elects not to come in, he's gonna pass Andy Shield momentarily as the race leader. There's a 13.1 second stop. And there you see Eric go by. Steven decides he's going to come in. Doug Doucette not doing too shabby for someone who already pit with a 17-second stop. Oh, as we see a little scrap going on back here. You see Colin Davis go a little wide, and Ryan Matthews managed to go through. We got Kent Kruger in the pits as we speak. Vincent Wood is also in there. And Steven Martinez got some as well. There's Vincent Wood starting his pit stop. Oh, as he gives them a little flinch to go in. Oh, never mind, both of them have stopped. They should be ready to rock. Oh, as Colin takes a lot of that curve. I don't know if he is an off track or anything. We still have Braden Ashworth, Corey Mitchell, and Lincoln Russell sitting there. Have not moved in some time. And there's Ryan. Oh, and Braden Ashworth says, "Okay, I can race. I can go eat some dinner, come back and still place second place in this race. Look at me go." As Colin Davis is off again just ahead of him. Well, it looks like he's managed to keep it going. Back up here are your leaders. Oh, and Corey Mitchell decides this race is worth fighting. Unfortunately, he's over 6 seconds behind Braden Ashworth at the moment. He's definitely got some time to make up here. He does see him ahead of him. I don't believe Braden or Corey ended up actually getting fuel, so we'll see what happens. We may end up both stopping again. as Andy's now starting to track down Eric. He's going to push him to the right into the pits in a second. There you go. Just give him a little tap in there. Yep. It's Eric Kulliga having a great race this evening. Finds himself in second position overall in this race. And he should be able to keep that as he exits the pits. He's still got a 36-second gap over Douglas Doucette, who is currently third overall. Now here's the time in the show where I'd like to remind you guys to hit that thumbs down button, and don't bother subscribing, and hit that little bell button an even number of times. I was actually kind of disappointed today. I got on and I was like, why do I have 18 subscribers? Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't know, it just cracked me up. Anyways, so yeah, all that, and oh, sorry, I'm hearing from race control back here that we have Fernando Alonso is here to join us. Fernando, can you hear me? Oh yes, Eric. Very, very nice to be here. Always must leave it to space. Leave it to space. Oh, okay, thank you for joining us, Fernando. We'll talk to you a little bit later on. We're riding on board with Ryan Matthews here, who did not leave it to space. Got Braden Ashworth leading this pack. I think all of these guys have had their actually, no, Braden didn't look like he actually got some fuel, and Colin Davis is about to be pushed around this racetrack by Ryan, who gets it done here on the inside. Colin Davis hasn't really let him off the hook yet. Although I suspect Ryan to pull ahead in a moment. He doesn't get a very good exit from the Dunlop curves, and he has to give it back, and here comes Corey behind them all. I don't quite know what happened. Did he come into the pits this time to actually keep up? No, he has, is he heading off track? What's going on with you, Corey? You left the pits. And that, and these guys probably just had some pit stops and came out in your way as you try to track down Braden Ashworth. You're going to get by both of them at the moment, and you are. You're now only 5 1/4 behind Braden Ashworth. Get back on the racing line before the first chicane. A little bit further back, David Arnett is limping this car to the finish. Oh, goodness gracious. He's got no tail and one eye. I think it might feel a little bit funny for him. As Corey's got under 5 seconds. He's got 8 minutes to go in this race. He's got 2 laps to go. As we shall see, he's putting in 3:52s, so we really should get 3 more laps out of this race, unless Andy realizes that and decides to just go way too slow. But it looks at the moment like we're going to get 3 more laps out of these guys, and I hope everybody fueled up for that. Because, you know, sometimes your pit crew or your overlay apps can be like, oh, to finish this race, you need this much fuel. then you don't realize it's Le Mans, and you know you might need to do an extra lap. I think that's why we saw some of the guys take longer in there, you know, versus the Ryan Matthew taking a 12.8 versus you know, someone like Steven Martinez who took a 17.3 in the same class. We'll see how that may pan out towards the end. And yeah, David Arnett with a 16.7. Maybe he will just roll right goodbye these guys in the pits and limp that car across the line. Who knows? In second place at the moment is now Doug Doucette. I don't know if this might have just been it was a pretty clean pass actually right out of the pit lanes as Eric was exiting. I was wrong that Doug was able to get by, and now he's by quite a margin of 5.7. Sorry, three seconds now. But they are both a whopping 43 seconds behind Andy. Corey's only got this gap down to 4.6 over the last, let's say, 2.5 minutes. I don't think he's going to get it. He needs Braden to make a major mistake. At this rate, 4.5 seconds is just going to be too much for him to make up by the end. As we can hear Braden going by just ahead of him. Corey just did a 355, whereas Braden's doing a higher 355. About 9/10 between them. Corey's got it down to 4 seconds, but we shall see if that's going to be good enough. Both of them spent long time in the pits. Not exactly sure what for. Or if they were even able to juice up while they were there. And Russell, unfortunately, finding himself down in 11th overall, 8th in class, was really clawing his way up, and I believe he started on the second row, if I'm not mistaken. It's unfortunate to find himself back there after a couple incidents. See where Andy's at. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's well over that line. What am I talking about? We are on the penultimate lap here. We're gonna have one more after this one. So I'm thinking if Corey wants to get this done, he's got to do it sooner than later. I don't know what happened there. Doug certainly didn't get the greatest exits. Let's see what happened. Oh, that's why. That's probably why. And then he is Eric for company. Surely as they come down Mulsanne. But he's going to have that top speed advantage as Eric's actually losing time in that slipstream. Eric really needs to just hang back. He's losing more and more time. It's going to be up to a second maybe by the end of the straight now. David Arnett has decided to come into the pits and get some repairs done. Douglas unsure probably if this is going to be the last lap of the race. He probably doesn't know. As we see Andy coming out of Arnage, he should have enough time to take us across the line for one last time. Corey is now only 2.3 behind Braden Ashworth. So we got 30 seconds on the clock, and here comes Andy. He's going for it. We got one more lap here at Le Mans. Let's see who's going to run out of gas. It's Corey now down to 2 seconds here. You can almost smell that slipstream. Doesn't get the greatest exit out of that chicane, out of that corner. Got one more lap to do it, and he's got it back down to 2 seconds here to come into Indy. Get right back on the gas, and this one totally catches you out. It's a slow corner of Arnage. It's very easy to get wrong. It's not particularly hard to get right, but it's very easy to get wrong. Doug, knowing he's going to have to contend with Eric now for this final lap. Corey desperately trying to stay with Braden. He knows he's faster than him. He's just got to get closer to him. He's now 1.2 ahead. Corey really pushing himself through this section. It's back up to 1.4 as he sacrifices the second chicane. As a result, but he is down to 1.6. He's got one lap to do it in. As Kent Kruger has an accident. Let's go see what happened. Fantastic. It's the same thing we saw Douglas do a little bit earlier. They've now been racing for 42 minutes. I'm sure they're starting to feel it. Corey is technically, I think, in that slipstream. And then there's Vincent Wood in the GTE class just ahead of them. You see Corey's getting on him now at 1.3. He's got to have a good exit from this first chicane. He's getting a good entrance that generally means he's going to have a bad exit sometimes, but no, he's got a good exit, and he's still making up a time little by little. This could be pivotal, getting a good toe down. He needs to get right in that slipstream. This is pivotal for him to get a good run on Braden for the second half of this lap. Oh, that's the run I was referring to. Just ahead of them, Vincent Wood is falling into Braden's grasp there. Oh, excuse me, folks. I'm sorry, Andy. I just missed you coming across the finish line there. Congratulations as your pole sitter and race winner. Douglas holding off Eric for bragging rights anyways. Eric's still pushing. He's got under a second because why not? Love to be second place overall. He's going to have to settle for second in his class. And congratulations to your GT1 winner and Douglas Doucette. Actually just got to run a clean race and hope that Corey has technical issues. Eric Kulliga runs a clean race. Congratulations. Real solid work, as does Steven Martinez. Just runs his race with 0 X's. Fantastic work. Just further back here for bragging rights, mixed class racing for 6th overall. And there's Vincent Wood and Braden Ashworth coming across that checkered line for the final time. So we see Corey Mitchell coming around, and then we have Ryan Matthews, who's 6th in class, 9th overall. There's your GTE leaders there. And your first GT1 car there. We're waiting for Braden Ashworth and Corey Mitchell. Unfortunately, he's going to take that default 3rd as Bjorn Benches retired from this race. They're just waiting for him to come around for picture time. Let's take a quick look at those race results for you. One of these times, it'll come. It'll come. As we see Corey join the boys there. And here they go, have a little bit of fun for you. All right, everybody, we got Andy Schill was your pole sitter and race winner this evening. Doug Doucette, comes in first place for the GT1s. Then we got Eric Culliga, Steven Martinez, and Kent Kruger comes in 5th place overall. Then we have Vincent Wood, Braden Ashworth, Ryan Matthews, Corey Mitchell, and Colin Davis rounds out the top 10. Lincoln Russell is followed by David Arnett, and we got Bjorn Benches, Ty Johnson, Orion Collins, and Mark Bray, who did not complete the race this evening. As always, make sure to not subscribe, hit that thumbs down, and make sure you hit the bell an even number of times. We're going to be racing on Sunday. We're going to do the GT3s here, of course, and hopefully everybody's not going to be too burned out on Le Mans. I'm going to try to give it a stab myself on Saturday, so wish us luck. Anyways, thanks for joining us, guys. I'll see you next time.